In today's episode of the Motorhome Matt Podcast,
I share my winter products for storing and travelling.
And we're off to the big show at the NEC.
And we answer your questions on a Malibu versus a twin motorhome, keeping bikes secure whilst driving, and sat-nav speedometers.
Welcome to the Motorhome Matt Podcast. I'm Keith Gooden.
And I'm Motorhome Matt.
Industry insights and expert advice for the world of motorhomes, caravans and campervans. And it's brought to you with thatleisureshop.com and sponsored by Ripe.
Now remember, if you're listening, please follow on your favourite podcast app. And if you're watching, click subscribe and the little bell on YouTube.
The big news this week, and it is big, it's the big show at the NEC, Matt.
It's back. It's our twice-a-year holiday in the Midlands. The Motorhome Caravan Show is here the 14th to the 19th of October. If you're looking for a new motorhome or caravan, this is the place to go. Thousands of them on display. It's a huge show. It holds 8 to 20. I think it's the biggest consumer show.
It's massive.
That the NEC run.
It is. I've been to shows at the NEC, and they're nothing in comparison to this. It's huge. And if you're a new listener to the podcast, this is the big one in the UK. And it is spectacular. And we're going to be there, aren't we, Matt?
We have a stand, 9.32. So as you go into Hall 9, we're right in the foyer. Can't miss it. Just look for the orange, a big picture of me. Sorry about that. And look for the huge banners in the atrium as well. They are hilarious. But we will be there. Mrs. Motorhome Matt will be talking about me for the whole week. What a lucky young lady she is. And Fliss is helping too. So Fliss, his driver training, is there as well. And we will be there gathering some content for future episodes. So we are really keen to get your voices on the podcast.
Yeah, talking to you.
We want your comments,
what have you got to say to us? It's always great when you come up and say hello. It's brilliant. And the bags are back.
They are. Someone told you the orange bags are back. Now, these were hugely popular a few years ago when we launched the podcast. We ran out by the end of the show, and people for months after were saying, "Can I get an orange bag?" They are back. The bright orange, brilliant for putting your shopping in after the show. And thank you to our two sponsors that have enabled this, because they become quite expensive to buy. Warranty Solutions Group and Motorhome.Finance are both helping pay for them. So you can get a Motorhome Matt Podcast branded bag with the help of those two great guys. We will have other members of the Motorhome Matt approved directory on the stand throughout the week. So do come and say hello. If you see us wandering around, stop us and don't trip me up, but just say hi. And there is a ticket discount available.
You mean all that? And you can save money?
You can save money. So if you've not bought your tickets to go yet, head to mhmp.info/NEC2025. That's mhmp.info/NEC2025. And you get a discount on your ticket. So hopefully we'll see you there. This episode is brought to you in partnership with a Motorhome Matt approved brand, motorhome.finance, powered by Creative Funding Solutions. Motorhome.finance offer straightforward personal finance for anyone looking to buy a motorhome, campervan or a caravan, with a service that's frankly refreshingly human. In the run-up to and during the October NEC Motorhome and Caravan Show, they're offering some cracking deals too. Just 7.9% APR on loans of £50,000 and more, and 8.9% APR on loans of £15,000 and more. And if you complete your finance deal before the show, you'll get 2 free tickets to the event. Terms and conditions do apply, and as ever, finance is subject to status. So, if you're planning your next leisure vehicle purchase and want really competitive rates and someone who will actually pick up the phone, head to motorhome.finance.
Okay, our product feature of the week this week is something very important. We had the most magnificent sunny summer. I feel the rhythm. Arriba, arriba. And then, it's coming. The rain started to fall.
Did you get caught in that thunder and lightning storm yesterday? It was horrendous.
It bypassed me. I got a warning on my phone, though. Not the one on Sunday that went beep, beep, beep.
Oh, yeah.
Ignore this one. This was a bing, it went up and it said, it's going to rain where you are and it's going to be very heavy. But luckily it skirted around me, because you're not the first person to say, did you get caught in that rain? No, I didn't.
Well, I did. Anyway, this is a moisture trap this one is from Kilrock. There's lots of brands. Control with a K is another that we sell at that leisure shop. And we have a special offer for this winter. One of these you can get, they're £5.99. You get one free when you spend £25 at thatleisureshop.com.
That's fantastic.
So that's a brilliant offer.
What exactly does it do?
It's a rubbish maraca. So you literally unwrap it and it just starts absorbing moisture from the air. And these little ones are brilliant to put in the cupboard or the wardrobe. So you don't have to keep all the cupboard doors open. And it just absorbs all the moisture and avoids damp forming and mould and stuff growing all over the walls. And they're brilliant. They're a must-have. They really are. They're cheap and really effective. Just go in after a month or so and just empty the water out of them. And you can buy a bag to top them up and go again.
Fantastic.
Yeah, really good.
And free when you spend £25 at thatleisureshop.com.
Get yours now.
It's the Motorhome Matt Podcast with me, Keith Gooden.
And me, Motorhome Matt.
Brought to you with thatleisureshop.com and sponsored by Ripe. This week, it's a list, but it's a list that you need to watch and listen to because it's all about kit for winter.
Oh, there's a lot of it as well. Do you know what? We were preparing this list. It went on and on and on. So let's fly through this quickly, shall we? There's going to be something in here you thought, I never thought of that. So let me kick off. These are a list of products that you should consider if you're putting your motorhome or caravan into storage. The first one, lots of debate about this, is a cover. Should you buy and use a full cover? Now, I used to say, no, they cause damp, they scratch the windows. Do you know what? We've had our van under a cover now for several years, not a mark on it. I think if you buy a decent cover that's got a soft lining inside and it's breathable, so they're not waterproof, this means that moisture can escape through the cover. So yeah, rain will go through it. The van's going to get wet, but it means it can dry, it can breathe. So a breathable cover, I think, is a good investment. Brilliant security device as well, because people can't see what you've got.
So it doesn't build up condensation underneath.
Exactly that, yeah. So it needs to be breathable and have a soft lining, really important. And then there's a new innovation as well, which is called a topper. And this is just a cover that covers the roof and a foot down the sides, and then you use straps to hook it underneath the side panels, and that keeps the roof clean. So if you're under a tree or somewhere where there's lots of leaves blowing around, it will stop everything getting into your roof. And of course the covers stop tree sap, UV damage, rain, hail damage potentially to a point.
Bird lime's
a biggie because that can eat into the plastic. So I think they're worth having. You can also buy bespoke covers. We've talked about these before because people say, well, then my solar panels won't work. You're right, they won't. That's the downside of a cover. But you can buy covers from people like Specialized, TaylorMade. They're two companies that make them, and they will put a clear panel in the cover where your solar panel is on the roof. They're more expensive, obviously, but they are worth considering. If you're a caravaner, a hitch cover is also really useful because it prevents frost getting into the hitch and moisture getting into hitch and drying the hitch out.
And the hitch is the thing that connects it to the car.
The A-frame, yeah. And you see them covered up and people say, why do you bother doing that? Often they're branded, they're a great advert for the caravan dealer, but they do serve a really useful purpose. And then we come to security. So on a caravan, a hitch lock is ideal. I love the little locks that go in the front corner steadies. So you lift the A-frame up into the air, so the caravan's almost doing a wheelie, and you lock the corner steadies in that position so they can't be lowered, and that means you cannot hitch the caravan up and tow it away. A really useful thing to consider. Physical security is always the thing I talk about. A wheel clamp, visible and physical. They're the two considerations.
Is that visible and physical?
Good,
that. I like that.
It's like a weekend with Keith.
It's like a Living John hit, isn't it? Visible, physical.
It's a rubbish song. But the more visible, the better. I know lots of people put steering wheel locks on as well. A great addition. And then they close all the blinds, so you can't see it. So it just leave the driver's window blind open, and then a thief can peer in and see your massive steering wheel lock. and go, oh, okay, that is going to be hard work. And the disc lock around the entire steering wheel is always going to be more effective than a single pole, because there is a chance you can cut the steering wheel and break the steering lock off. But any kind of security like that is going to be good. The pedal locks, so locking your brake and clutch pedal in position, are another great addition too. And a motorcycle chain threaded through an alloy wheel. Lots of our customers in our storage site do this. It's a cheap, easy addition, a great big chain with a cloth cover over it, a big padlock, and just thread that through the wheel. And if it's an alloy wheel, it's got bigger gaps than a steel wheel.
So what does that do then?
It's just a deterrent. And the more you can deter a thief, the more likely they are to go, okay, the next one along the street then. It's sad but true. But the harder it is to get a motorhome taken, the better.
And you make a good point about, if you've got these things fitted, make sure they're visible.
Absolutely,
It's all very well hiding the stuff away, but the damage has been done when they've discovered they can't actually get rid of it. And
that's right.
They might just do something extra naughty just because they're feeling a bit hacked off. So make sure if you've got these deterrents, they are visible. Damp management.
Yeah, damp management is really important. We mentioned the control boxes or kill rock. These trap the moisture in the van, and so important. Leave the fridge ajar as well. Leave an open lemon in the fridge, or put a crystal box in the fridge.
An open lemon?
Cut a lemon in half, as opposed to a closed one.
And what does that do?
It absorbs damp. It helps to keep the fridge smelling nice.
A lemon?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It says here it does.
I didn't know that.
Makes the fridge smell really nice.
Makes it smell nice.
Leave the fridge door open. Leave it ajar. There's often a catch on the fridge that means the fridge door can stay ajar, or prop it open. Fold the freezer box down, and that will hold the door open if yours doesn't have the catch that helps it breathe. The other big consideration is the batteries. So when you're going into storage, batteries go flat.
Are we talking about the ones that are in the engine, or are we talking about the other ones, or all of them?
All of them. So the starter battery, if you've got a tracker and an alarm on the battery, on the motorhome, and it's wired to the starter battery, that could go flat in a week. That's not uncommon. People think there's a fault. No, there's a tracker drawing a lot of juice. And an alarm. Alarms are terrible for it. So you need to keep your starter battery topped up, but also consider keeping your leisure battery topped up too. Now, my advice is, with the starter battery, you can't really disconnect it if you've got a tracker, because that could invalidate your insurance. So you need to either hook it up regularly or drive it regularly. Starting it needs a 20-minute drive to put the charge back in. Leaving it a tick over won't recharge it enough. You need to rev it up and drive it. Either keep it revving up at 2,500 revs with the aid of a house brick or something like that, a piece of wood propping it, and while you're doing some other maintenance jobs, have the engine revving, and that will put some charge back into the battery if you can't drive it somewhere.
We'll just take you for a nice little round trip, for an hour.
Much better for it. Just drive off, get a takeaway coffee, and go for a spin. That will do the brakes, discs, everything, all the running gear favour, and put charge back into the batteries. Consider a second battery, so particularly a leisure battery. You can take the other one home, recharge it, and replace it. Or take the leisure battery off. If there's nothing connected to the leisure battery, just disconnect it and take it home. And you can charge it with a battery maintainer at home. It doesn't necessarily need to be on the van. And consider too removing the batteries from your clocks, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, so they don't go flat. In our storage site, I regularly walk around as we do an audit, and there's beep, 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 like that coming from a van. And
what's that noise again?
Beep. Oh. A little chirp, where the smoke alarm or the carbon monoxide alarm are going flat. Now, eventually, that chip noise...
I'll tell you a story about that.
Go on.
We bought our first home, me and my beautiful wife, and we'd been there for about a year, and suddenly the boiler, it had a tank in there. This is the days before combi boilers, and the tank, the hot water tank, started going beep, beep, beep. What the hell is this? So I called the heating engineer out, and he opened the cupboard and looked behind it, and it was an old smoke alarm.
Tucked in behind.
Which had fallen down the back.
Carbon monoxide alarm.
That cost me £100.
That's quite a serious place for a carbon monoxide. But a very sensible place.
It must have fallen off a shelf or something like that. It's just one of those things.
But at least you knew it was there.
Yeah, it was going beep, be driving me mad. What is that in the middle of the night?
The problem there, though, when you put your caravan or motorhome into storage, it makes that chirping noise. I always make a point of ringing the owner and telling them. Yeah. I say, you need to know that one of the alarms in your van, the battery is going flat. Because by the time they come to it in March, it's given up chirping. And they go off on holiday with a carbon monoxide alarm with a flat battery in it. They don't know. They don't think to test it. So I always make a point of telling them, you need to know your batteries are going flat. Put new ones in before you go away. And my advice is before every trip, test them. I know it's an annoying noise, but just test them.
Just press the button.
Press the button, yeah.
I don't know about carbon monoxide alarms, but certainly smoke alarms. Make sure you wear gloves when you're changing the batteries, because there are radioactive components in there. It's what makes it, it's what makes it work. Not dangerously so, unless you're handling it and then licking your fingers.
Well, I lit the battery to test it.
No, that's all right, licking the battery, the contacts on the battery. But it's the gubbins inside.
But don't lick the smoke alarm.
Yes, don't lick.
I've never done that. I'm
sorry, officer, I was just licking my smoke alarm.
I won't be doing that, that's for sure. Yeah. But yeah, batteries are important. They're a big debate and topic for conversation. Rodents is another one.
You mean rats and mice?
Rats and mice. Squirrels as well. They're a nightmare. Squirrels are the worst. So
are they?
Yeah, they do loads of damage. They are very, very damaging to motorhomes.
What do they do?
Chew everything. They're a nightmare. They've got really strong teeth, and they get a taste for fiberglass or some kind of component in your wall, and they'll eat the whole thing.
I think I've told this story before, but we were having a new kitchen fit a couple of years, 5 years actually. Always couple, it's 5. And
that's your age.
Yeah, we were having extra electricity points put in, so they were routing out the wall. And when they took the old kitchen out and they took the pattress off the power unit, there was a mouse with his.
I thought you were going to say you found your wife
with his teeth still around the wine. It was dried out and like that.
On YouTube, you can't see Keith, if you're listening, doing this. Wait, that's an electric shock. That's awful. Yeah, poor mouse.
Poor mouse.
Oh, well, one less.
But rodents do like to chew through the insulation, don't they?
They love the rubber, yeah. So putting a humane trap in is one way. The problem with a humane trap is they don't last long in them. And we get lots of mice at home where we live. As it gets colder, and they struggle to survive the night sometimes. They just sweat it and they go mad inside the trap, and we do try and release them a mile or more away, down to the neighbour we don't like, but yeah, of course then there's sprung traps, and you can get lots of deterrents. I know people that put peppermint soaked hankies in the van. Mice don't like that, and nor do elephants. They've never had an elephant in their van either. So whether that works, I don't know. But there's all sorts of deterrents. There's audible deterrents as well. My advice would be remove all foods from the van that's not tinned. Even in a plastic Tupperware box, mice will eat through that. They love the plastic. If it's tinned, fair enough. But otherwise, remove all the food, except for one lump of chocolate on the floor. So I've always advised to put a piece of chocolate on a piece of tin foil in the middle of the van on the floor, and if it's still there when you come back and there's no teeth marks in it, you have not had mice. If it's gone, you need to do some further investigation. And people say, well, Matt, you're just going to attract mice with the piece of chocolate. I don't think so. I would rather know the mice had been in, and then I can start checking seatbelt mounts, because they often come up through the cab. I can start checking on the engine bay. The number of times we've taken air filters out and there's been a mouse nest in the air filter is probably 2 or 3 times a year. When we're getting a van serviced. So check everywhere, check your wiring.
And mice are tiny, so when Matt says remove all the food, apart from that little square of chocolate, really, they can exist on tiny amounts.
They get through a hole the width of a pencil. Very flexible bone structure in a mouse. And no nutritional value for us. And then cleaning it. It always seems daft to clean your motorhome or your caravan before you put it away into storage. But my advice would be give it the best wash of its life and then coat it with a protective covering. You can buy the whole range of cleaning products from thatleisureshop.com. And Autoglym make a brilliant wax called an HD wax. There are loads of others available as well. We do favour and sell the Autoglym HD wax. It's always on my Christmas list, as I love to spend, it's like a guilty pleasure having a half a day to spend waxing the car.
Well, you come around and do mine if you want.
No, you're right. I've seen your car. It needs more than a wax. Although you've got a new car now.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice too. Yeah. You should wax it. You should give it a treat.
Well, that's why you should come round and do it.
I'm not doing it. Yeah. And then the other thing is consider sealing up all the vents. So with cling film or tape. Careful of glue if you're using like gaffer tape, I call it, kidnapper's tape, because it leaves a gluey, sticky remnant behind.
It's called gaffer tape because the electrician, if you look at the credits on the film, it always says gaffer. And that's a head electrician.
It's the tape they favour.
They call it duct tape in America.
Duct tape is the Americanism, yeah. But consider Vaseline on electrical plugs, covering them up and sealing them.
Quack, quack.
Duct.
Because it's water resistant.
I thought it was duct.
No, duct.
Is it really? Okay. Gorilla Tape's another one, but that's a brand, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you've got gorillas, then, if I were you, I'd put more than chocolate down.
Never mind the squirrels. Yeah. Watch out for them gorillas. But Vaselining up your electrical connectors, so particularly on a caravan, can help prevent water and corrosion. So, yeah, really important. Oh, the list goes on.
Products for travelling, though. A safety and emergency kit. Even if you're not thinking of travelling in the not too distant future, it's always good getting this checked and stocked up, isn't it? Because these are the things that when you need them, and if you haven't got them, it's a right old pain in the gorilla.
Absolutely, yeah. Ouch. So consider blankets and snacks. Now, I know these are obvious, but they only become obvious when you break down, as I did in that Alfa Romeo and waited 15 hours for the breakdown recovery service to come. An extra blanket is a sensible thing to have in the boot, and some kind of non-perishable snack that will live happily in the boot and not go off. Just in case, consider taking your V16 beacon. I've got one here, actually. There's one under. Look at this. So the rules in Spain, January 26, you have to have one of these.
You can't use the warning triangle anymore.
No, they're no longer legally recognised. Loads of content about that on the podcast, but I'm going to turn it on so it's going to flash. So with this, you just twist it and it flashes orange, and that makes it a V16, that colour and speed. Or you apply it to a magnet. Our recorder's magnetic. The second time you put it on, it becomes a torch. It's dead handy under the bonnet. But the first time you press it, it's not working now. Why isn't that working? There it is.
Was it metal?
It is, yeah. So on a car, you don't even have to get out. That's the point. You just put it on the roof. On a motorhome, you put it on the roof of the motorhome if you can reach, or on the floor behind you. One of these in the winter, all year actually, but in the winter, obviously, it's much darker for longer. And one of these could save your life. In my little Alfa Romeo, I had run out of power. Battery went flat, alternator failed, had no lights at all. One of these would have been absolutely a godsend, I have to say, as I felt really quite vulnerable, to the point I rang 999 and the police came and moved me. So one of these, you can buy these at that leisure shop, they're 20 quid.
Yeah, but I say that in Spain the warning triangle isn't recognised anymore after January 26, but it's still a useful item in the UK, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You're still allowed to use a warning triangle, but I think a beacon is much more visible, much safer. Take a power pack, either a little portable one, because you want to keep your phone charged, especially if you break down, or take one of these portable power packs, one of the bigger ones that you can run appliances on and run all your electrical stuff on. There is a huge debate going on at the moment, which I'm party to, around how safe it is to run an appliance on a portable power pack, because the power pack isn't earthed. I'm going to cover this in the future. So this is a big topic. If you're running a double insulated appliance, so it's got two little squares, one inside the other, on it, you're fine. You're safe. But if it hasn't, so it's a metal appliance like a kettle, if that kettle shorts out and you're running the electric kettle on the power pack, you could get an electric shock. We're going to revisit this in the future, so be mindful of that. If you've got questions about this, send them to me and I'll try and answer it. And take a torch. Head torch is dead handy because you can keep your hands free. And if you're walking the dog in the evening or going for a walk, head torch is great. And you can buy some really quite funky LED ones nowadays. Really good.
And you go, I am a Dalek.
You can do your Dalek impression if you want. Keeping online as well. So I would suggest, I've got one of these here as well, a Pathway 4G. only because, full disclosure, this is ours. You can buy these at thatleisureshop.com. We have sold thousands of these.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Because what you do is you get yourself a data SIM and pop it in there, and it's got stickers on the back, or you can just stick it to a window, but it gives you broadband connections.
You just lick and stick it to your window.
A great idea, Matt.
It is a great idea. And SIM ambivalent. So you can put any UK SIM, any European SIM in it.
Simbivalent.
Yeah. You're making up more words again. I'm never going to get away with that, am I?
No.
Coagulant. See, I know it now. So you just lick and stick this to the wall of the van, the window. We've driven around for weeks with one stuck in the roof light, and we've used it all over the UK. Cat Wandering Bird, she used one all over France. I know people have been all over Europe with one to great success. So, yeah, thatleisureshop.com, Pathway 4G. Really, really useful. And, of course, you're going to spend more time in the van because it's dark, possibly raining, cold, so you want to be connected.
This is a fantastic pastime.
Outside, this is.
Welcome to motorhoming caravanning. He's really going to set it up for you.
Honestly, the motorhome is the cosiest place on a cold, wet night. Get the heating on. You're connected to the internet. You can watch whatever you want on telly or YouTube, whatever. It's brilliant. And board games. Our overcab cupboard in our van has a huge box, and it's full of loads of playing cards, board games. My new favourite card game is Phase 10. I have become a little bit addicted to it. You ever played that?
Never even heard of it.
Right, okay, we'll do that. I'll play you at it. I promise I'll beat you. It is brilliant. No skill involved. Phase 10, brilliant card game. My kids love playing it as well. So it's a great game for all the family. As I say, I've become a little bit addicted. And then there's some practical stuff for the van itself. Check your tyres. I've said this before. Make a pact with your tyres. So PACT. So check the pressure, check their age, check their condition, and check the nut torque.
The nut torque?
Take your torques on your nuts. Yeah. I knew you'd go for that one. I was expecting you to say, how can you check the age of your tyres? But no, you went nut torque.
Well, how can you change the age of your... How can you check the age of your tyres?
Well, you can't change them, but there's a little pill on the sidewall, and it has 4 numbers on. For example, 0422. And that means that tyre was made in week 4 of 2022. And the rule of thumb is 7 years old and 5 years use. So if your tyre is more than 7 years old, so we're recording this in 2025, so if your tyre has 2018 or 18 as the last 2 numbers, your tyre is 7 years old, and it's therefore time to change it.
My son, actually, and his little Ford KA, or his box, as he likes to call it, he had 2017 tyres on it, and we had to spend the money and get all 4 of them changed. I went to the mechanic, which is local to us, and he said, what's caused this? Lots of people going around on old tyres. It was the pandemic. He said,
right, okay.
People during the pandemic, it was like 2 years, and people just didn't
change their tyres.
And you find now, he says, a lot of people are driving around on tyres which are too old. He says, which is fine if you're going down the shops. He said, but when you get on the motorway, I can't guarantee that they're not going to.
It is a guideline introduced by and endorsed by the tyre industry. No surprise there.
Yeah.
That's my cynical view, but I do think you should be mindful of the age of your tyres and check their condition. If they're cracking in the tread or on the sidewalls, then it would be very sensible to change them. And always consider campervan spec tyres for your motorhome or caravan. You can put van tyres on them. They run at a lower pressure, so be mindful of that. The tyre pressure that might be indicated in the door surround might be too high for a van tyre. I prefer campervan tyres because the sidewalls are thicker, the tread pattern is better for all year use. And because the sidewalls are thicker, it's better because the van stood around. And of course, it stood around at full weight. It's not like a van, which is emptied out every day or every so often. A motorhome is at full weight all the time. But there is no harm in putting a van tyre on a motorhome, but there is a campervan spec you can consider. They are more expensive, of course. And then for winter specifically, consider a winter tyre. So you can look for the 3 Peak Mountain Snowflake logo, and it literally is 3 little mountain peaks, and it has a snowflake on. And if it's got that 3 PMSF, 3 Peak Mountain Snowflake logo on, they have been skid tested. There are some tyres that are just winter tyres with a snowflake on, and they fulfil the criteria required for winter tyre spec, but they've not actually been tested. Whereas we've got the full 3PMSF logo on, they have been skid tested.
But you don't have to fit winter tyres. I mean, if you're...
Well, unless you're going to a place that requires you by law to have them. So if you're going to Europe and you're going up into the mountains, they may require snow tyres. They might require snow chains.
I was just going to say that. If you're going 50 miles to the site down the road in England and the weather isn't too inclement, then you don't really...
inclement as opposed to inclement.
That's the one. You don't really need to have...
no, of course you don't.
Lash out on winter tyres. But if you're going up the side of a mountain in Norway...
yes, definitely worth considering.
Norway, as I like to call it.
Norway.
Norway.
You may have to legally fit them, so you may not have a choice. I know loads of people that change their tyres over for the winter, and it's they've got different tread pattern, so they dispel the water from rain showers better.
Squirt it out the sides.
Basically, and I'll be honest, if there's a foot of snow outside, I'm not going away in the motorhome.
Indoors anyway,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I won't be going. Check your antifreeze, really important, in your coolant as well. You can buy a tester for that, or many garages will do it for free, so you can get that checked. Gas is a big conversation too. Propane has a much lower freezing level than butane. So propane freezes at -28, butane freezes at 0. So that's why the red bottles are more prolific if you're buying a refillable bottle, and we use propane gas in those. If you've got the yellow refillable bottles, they're designed to be used with propane, and that is why. Better in the winter.
Right, okay then. And gas regulator as well.
Yeah, make sure you've got the right regulator, a propane regulator if you're using a propane bottle, not a butane one. So it will say LPG propane on it. And consider water. So this is the big issue when you're away in the winter, is that your water freezes, particularly your wastewater, because it's usually outside the van. We pour a boiling kettle down the plug hole in the sink, and a little bit down the shower too when we're away in the winter, and leave the tap open. So we either have a bucket outside or just onto the ground if it's appropriate to do that, and we're near a drain. I'll get criticised for saying that.
I saw that there were some comments last time you mentioned that, leaving draining onto grass. People didn't like that, did they?
They didn't know. But it depends what you're putting in your waste tank. If you're only putting water down it, what's the issue? Oh. We're at a show, we're not washing up in it, and we're not, putting loads of horrible stuff down the sink. Anyway, that's a different debate for a different day. But the point is, we pour warm water into the waste tank to keep it from freezing. Right. You can buy water tank blankets that stick to the underside, and they'll warm the wastewater. Tankets, yeah. Yes, tank blanket, actually. A tanket's a really good name.
I know.
Let's look at that. And often the Truma heating system and the Elder heating systems offer wastewater tank heaters as an option. So you might have that so you can keep your wastewater warm. And normally the fresh water is inside the van where you've got the heating on, so it doesn't freeze. But some British-built motorhomes, the fresh water tank is outside. Right. And you don't want to be warming your fresh water. I suppose if you warmed it above 0 to a few degrees, it would still taste cold. But really, you want to be away in the winter in a motorhome or caravan that's built for it. Okay, sunglasses for yourself, useful when the sun is low, and people do forget that, don't they? They do. Well, you head out the door and it's cloudy and raining, but if it clears, the sun's often much lower in the sky. So keep a pair of sunglasses in the van. That glare can be really difficult to drive in, and a glass cleaner too. Yeah, because when the sun is low, you see all the imperfections and the dirt on the windscreen. Where you sneezed all over it. So clean. I'm thinking about the outside. Clean the inside and outside of the screen and the side windows and your mirrors. We sell a glass cleaner at thatleisureshop.com, and it's fantastic. It's really, really effective. It's literally a few quid. Just keep one of those in the van and a microfiber cloth, and give the screen a clean before you head off. As you say, you don't notice how dirty it is until the sun is that low in the sky and it's causing you an issue. Yeah. So we've got to the end of the list, and the message is: be prepared. Don't leave things to chance. Absolutely. Yeah. Hope that's useful. A lot of this and loads more you can find in an ebook I wrote. It's at thatleisureshop.com/winter. You can download it totally for free. We just ask you for your first name and an email address so we can send it to you. It's a PDF, so you can download it, and there's a checklist as well that you can tick things off. So it's a really useful guide we produced a little while ago. Still valid today, so go and get that.
How much does that cost?
It's free.
Ah, free!
thatleisureshop.com/winter.
So I've heard some people say, I've got nothing to hide online. Why would I bother with a VPN? So what do you tell them then, Matt?
I say it's like locking your motorhome door. You don't do it because you've got gold bars inside. You do it so no one pokes around and takes things that matter to you. NordVPN does the same for your online life. It keeps your banking safe, blocks dodgy websites, and stops your internet provider tracking what you're doing. It's quick, easy, and runs in the background. You don't even notice it's there until you need it.
I suppose that's a pretty good way of putting it.
Yeah, so just click the link in the description and you can give NordVPN a try. Risk-free with their 30-day money-back guarantee.
It's the Motorhome Matt Podcast with me, Keith Gooden.
And me, Motorhome Matt.
It's brought to you with thatleisureshop.com and sponsored by Ripe.
Get 15% off your premium with Ripe. The discount applies automatically if you click the link in the episode description.
It's our Q&A, the questions and answers, where you ask the questions and Matt, the expert, he gives you the answer. And if he doesn't know, he asks somebody that does. First of all, just one word, it's Michelle.
Hi, Matt. Could you tell me which one, in your opinion, is the better camper van? The Malibu 640 Skyview twin room or the Adria 640 SLB Supreme? And what one is best value for money? Thank you.
Cheers, Michelle. Much appreciated. By the way, when you said a question, send one in. It's nice to know where you are, so do say where you are.
Who's that in the background?
Michelle. You're saying it wrong,
Don't
Michelle.
forget this.
Quickly.
Don't forget that.
No. Malibu or Adria, Matt?
They're both great vans. It's really hard to answer this specifically. Both are very, very attractive vans. They both have a massive following second-hand as well, which is a big consideration when you're buying any motorhome or camper van. I would suggest one thing to consider is how close is the Malibu or the Adria dealer to you at home. Michelle, you haven't said where you are, so I can't have a clue as to where the nearest dealer is to you. But whoever you buy it from, you're going to be going back there to get it looked after and serviced. So it might be you can persuade a local dealer to look after it for you. That's always a big consideration with any brand, but both are really popular and both have a pop top in the roof. So they have a bed in the downstairs and a pop roof, and hence the twin room thing. So a very popular design recently. So it's difficult to say. I imagine the Malibu might be a bit cheaper, but it's whatever suits you best.
It is. It's whatever suits you. What you want to do, where you want to go, how tall, short, fat,
Would I
thin.
buy either? Yes, I would. I'd have both. They're both great.
Andy Stevenson is in Thailand.
Hi, my name's Andy Stevenson and I am living in Thailand and have been for 4 years now. I'm coming back because the weather is just hot all the time, 24 hours a day, and I've had enough. I want seasons again. I'm gonna come back and get into the motorhome life, buy a nice motorhome. I don't know which one yet, but I'd just like to say to you that you are mindful of information and you've done me proud, believe it or not. I've got so many videos of you that's taught me a lot and showed me right from wrong. So I'm just a word going out to say that thank you. See ya.
Cheers, Andy, in Thailand. He's got a lot of videos in that country of you, Matt. Nice to hear. So, what's your answer?
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, hopefully we'll meet you one day face to face. If you're passing, do pop into one of that leisure shops down at Charleston and in North Somerset at Hewish.
Ken Dawson's in Mexborough. Eye up, Matt and Keith, he says. We met you on the Ask the Expert stand at the NEC in February, and we spoke of the misunderstanding about a previous question of mine. What I was wanting to know was, are there any products, such as airbags, that can be inflated and used to pack between our gravel bikes to stop them moving around in our motorhome garage? If I could just ask one more question, please. When I'm driving in my motorhome, I use a Garmin Camper sat-nav. This unit shows the speed limits, taking into account my vehicle's dimensions. When driving on the motorway, I stick to 60 miles an hour to be just quick enough to keep out of the way of HGVs. Now, my sat-nav shows 60 miles an hour and my vehicle shows about 60 miles an hour. Is there any data, I know you love data, to show that a sat-nav measures speed more accurately than a vehicle speedo? Thanks, Matt. We love your unique show. It's much more than a vlog, and we love the banter between yourself and Kevin.
That joke will not go away.
It will not go away. He says, my misanswer actually helped a few people, but thanks for clarifying. It's awfully complicated. Is his sat-nav showing the correct speed? Is his speedo showing the correct speed? One thing I do know is police vehicles have much more accurate speedos than the ones we have in our cars. They do. And motorhomes. So anyway, which one should you trust is what he's saying.
So car speedometers are designed to overstate actual speed slightly. They're never showing a speed lower than the true speed. So this is actually a legal requirement. So a speedometer reading 70 miles per hour actually means you're travelling around 65 miles per hour, whereas GPS devices measure actual distance over time. That's the critical difference, and they are generally more accurate. I still am actually a member of a local charity called Freewheelers. You see these motorbikes riding around and they've got blood written on them. Every one of those is ridden nationally by a volunteer. And I used to be vice chairman of our local region, and we would have a big Garmin sat-nav on the dash of the motorbike, and it read live speed. And we were always, as a team, comparing the Garmin with the speedometer of the motorbike, and there was always a difference. The bike was always reading slower. The motorbike was reading faster than the Garmin. So the Garmin would say we're doing 45 miles an hour, and the motorbike would show we're doing 41. And it is a legal requirement. So it's a good mix of both. There is an app for your smartphone. I've got an Apple device, and it's called Speedometer. And we recently changed the wheels on our motorhome, and I thought, has it made a difference? And so I used that to correctly read the speed and compare that to the speedometer on the dashboard of the van, and there was no difference. So it means it probably has made a slight difference. But I now know I'm not travelling too fast.
Right.
Confused?
Speed limits are limits. That's the fastest you can go.
It's true. Are they not a target?
And drive to the road conditions is the advice. And but one thing I do know is that the sat-navs and the satellites that control them in Earth orbit have to be adjusted every day because of Einstein's theory of relativity. Time ticks slower up there than it does down here, and if they didn't adjust it every day, it'd be about half a mile's difference locating you with the sat-nav. That's the difference it makes.
You've been on ChatGPT again?
No, I don't use that. It's AI.
Killing creativity.
I've got enough artificiality about myself. Me wooden leg.
Enough artificiality and no intelligence.
Matt, if someone's after a motorhome or just needs theirs looking after, where would you send them?
Well, I've gone to RV Supercentre for years whenever I've needed roller team spare parts in particular, so I know firsthand how helpful they are. They're not just about parts though, they're the UK's one-stop shop for motorhomes, whether you're buying new, used or even an ex-hire, if you're after great value.
And they do servicing as well, don't they?
Yep, full service centres, parts, accessories, bodywork repairs that are insurance approved, and they're NCC accredited workshops too. What I like is it's a small and super friendly team, but with nationwide sites. They're in Toddington, Edinburgh and Belfast. So they've got that local feel, but with a huge reach.
Sounds like the full package.
Exactly. You can find out more at rvsupercentre.co.uk, and we'll stick the link in the episode description too.
So, Matt, how do people get in touch?
We'd love it if you did. If you have a question, please ask it, because I always say, and it's true, I guarantee hundreds of others have probably got the same question. Go ahead to mhmp.info/ask Matt. Just fill in the form and we'll read it for you, or record it with the orange button. But remember, tell us where in the world you are.
And if you're looking for trusted brands and services, then make sure you visit the Motorhome Matt approved directory. Yeah. It's at mhmp.info/approved.
And remember to follow on your favourite podcast app, or if you're watching on YouTube, click subscribe and that little bell.